Hey, how's it going? I know. Crazy hectic, right? Well, sit back and relax and welcome to the Mom and Pop Spot. Help me welcome my dad and the host of the show, St. Patrick.
Mom and Pop Spot podcast. This is episode number 9. I am your host, Mr. St. Patrick, and we got Elijah, Wealth for Generations Lee, and Dip Habari live behind the scenes running things.
Heidi ho.
Welcome to all my parents of newborns, toddlers, tweens, teens, young adults, and grandfolks. Thank you for tuning in. We have a great episode for you today. Today's guest, we have a lovely, amazing, and incredible mother. This one was dope and exciting for me because I had the pleasure and honor to go back. If we're going back to the Harris days, yes, elementary school. So please help me welcome Nikki Connie Castillo to the show. How are you doing?
I'm good.
I'm not playing when I said that this was exciting for me because the fact that like I've always wanted to like bring back like elementary school folks and just kick back and just have a nice conversation. Um so tell me what do you love to do for fun and things that you do to relax from the parent life?
Parent life?
Yes.
I mean, is there such things as separating yourself from the parent life?
I mean there can be maybe.
Mm, Okay, well then I guess I have a good circle of people,
Right.
friends mainly, and the majority of them actually go back to grade school
Yeah.
times. And so when I guess I'm not doing the parenting thing at the moment.
Yeah.
I like to hang out with my friends.
Okay.
Yeah, socially. Um, have social time together, get-togethers, dinners, sometimes maybe go out for drinks here and there, but nothing
Yeah.
too crazy. I mean, that part of my life is over, but
Yeah.
yeah,
So you have the best of both worlds. Sorry, I'm just reading my notes and everything else because you have a boy and a girl.
I do.
What is that like?
Well, it's definitely a big difference because my daughter, she's about to be 20 years
Uh-huh.
old, and my son just turned 10.
Okay.
So there's a 10-year, just about a 10-year difference between them. And honestly, raising them both is like night and day.
Yeah.
For me, raising my 20-year-old daughter, it was a piece of cake. She
Yeah.
made me want other kids
Yeah.
because I know that a lot of people say, "Oh my gosh, it's stressful raising a kid, even with just one," or
Yeah.
I don't have the support, I don't have the help. But for me, none of that was an issue for me with my
Yeah.
daughter. So then, going to my son, I mean, it's pretty much the same, but my son, raising him is a bit different than it was raising a female.
Yeah.
Um, and two totally different personalities, even though they're raised in the same home, same, everything that I did with my daughter, I do with my son, except
Right.
he's a little bit more challenging, a
Okay.
little bit more active than my
Yeah.
daughter was.
You mentioned your support system. What is that support system?
Oh wow. I have an amazing family. I
Yeah.
have my mom, my sisters, my baby's dad, his family, him, the friends that I've grown up with since my elementary days, and they're all still there. So I have a wide variety. And the fact that my daughter now is 20 years old, she's a great help as well.
Yeah.
So, I can't say that I've done this parent role by myself because I've had the support system of everybody.
Yeah. How do you so for someone that's just thinking about it, like and they're wanting to offer support to say, they're, a friend that's a mom, what is that support? Like what are they doing that's you're saying, okay, this is helpful.
Everything and anything. For a young mother, let's just say that they're in their teens or after high schools and it's something new to them.
Yeah.
Having that support system is, supporting that person in deciding to have a baby. Oh yeah, you should do it. Or let's just say that it just happens.
Yeah.
Being there for that person emotionally, physically. Just if they need a ride or if they didn't have a gallon of milk or if they're falling short on change.
Right.
Or perhaps they need a night out just to get their mind off of parenting because sometimes it could be exhausting. Like, hey, want me to watch the baby while you go do that? Or do you need a ride here or there? Perhaps they didn't have a car.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of different ways. If they needed somebody to talk to, like, hey, my child is sick or this or that, and I don't know what's wrong with them. What should I do? I
Uh-huh.
mean, there is a support system that goes all the way around.
Yeah.
So I think, just anybody that can be there for you while you have a kid,
Right.
just, being there for you.
I do have to pick up on what you were saying because the fact that there is that huge age gap.
Mhm,
We have a 10-year-old and then we have one that's just turned 2 years old.
mhm.
The first one was super easy. The second one, a little bit of not complications, just a little bit of an attitude. But the third one, I'm like, man, this is like a lot more hard work because you don't realize it. I'm like, man, I'm in the gym every day, like I'm in the best health of my life and everything else. And that baby comes along and he's just everywhere and doing everything, and it really puts you on your feet. So it's a
Absolutely. I
lot of
mean,
work.
and there's really like you just have to do what you feel is best
Yes.
without losing your sanity
Yeah.
and, making sure that your kids get the best of you at the same time,
Right.
even though they're probably pulling your hair out or causing you gray hairs. I
Yeah.
mean, I if that's what you're going through, then, if you're handling it well, then I applaud you because
Yeah.
a lot of people out there as well, like, they let themselves just go mentally if
Yeah.
they're in your situation and if they're a single parent.
Yeah,
So,
a lot of credit goes to my wife because the fact that like she's able to be the backbone because the fact that
yeah.
I'm able to, do the show, go to work, go to the gym and everything else and still be able to maintain a household and stuff like that. So a lot of credit goes to her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not knocking dads because dads are amazing, but usually women kind of hold it down.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they do. I agree wholeheartedly with that.
I just feel like it comes
I
natural to
agree as
us.
well.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
Applause
think
to
it
the
just
women.
yes,
Yes. Yes. Let me do a pause for that. There we go. Yes.
but I just feel like it comes naturally to women.
Okay. When you're thinking about your teen life, and now you're reflecting towards your kids, how much different do you think it is? I mean, outside of like the devices and the normal cliche style of things, how do you think that it's a lot different?
For me, I think it's different because I feel like personally I hold my daughter to a higher standard than maybe my mom held for me.
Right.
Not that my mom didn't want what's best for me, but I think um, maybe maybe for me, my mom was like always working and stuff like that. Yes, she wanted what was best for us,
Yeah.
but I hold my daughter to a higher standard. Like, you know, I used to go out when I was a teen or whatever, but would I allow my daughter to do that? No, because
Exactly.
the world today is a little bit more chaotic than it was when I was a teen.
Right.
And so, if my daughter, as a teen, a few years back, if she wanted to go out with just her friends, no, I don't
Yeah.
think so, and she never really did. She was always, in books. She was always about sports, school, just everything that reflected around school.
Yeah.
For me, we won't get into my past, but, my daughter, what I hold her, her standards are a lot higher.
Yeah. How do you explain teens to someone that doesn't have kids? Teen life.
To somebody that doesn't have kids, wow. Um For teens, it's good to not have kids.
Uh-huh.
I just feel because if they're a teen and they haven't finished school or anything like that, I mean, and if they did have kids at that time, and I'm not knocking them because some of them do it,
Yeah.
but it's harder and a struggle. It may be a struggle
Yeah.
for a lot of teens who do have kids. Now, for those who don't have kids, I would just, tell them, find out what you want to do first in life, complete school, the same thing that I tell my daughter, like, don't go out having a kid right now. You're in college, complete
Yeah.
college, um, find out what you want to be before you go ahead and have kids,
Yeah.
because for me, it is a challenge having kids without having a plan.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm older. I mean, obviously, I have almost a 20-year-old and I'm barely completing school. I'm like three quarters done with uh, my bachelor's in
Wow, that's
management.
amazing.
Yeah, I eventually
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
I eventually went back to school, but if I could have did it again with thinking about it, I probably would have decided to finish school first before having kids because now I struggled bringing my kids through with me having to go to school and going to work and stuff like that. But if I would have planned it out, I would have completed everything first, then had my kids. So therefore, I could have been already stable.
Let me pick up on that question.
Okay.
So How would your life look like? Let's say you went through all the education and everything else at that point.
Mhm.
How different would your life be though?
I couldn't tell you because I can't predict what wasn't, but what I would like to have seen
Right.
is, me bringing kids into the world without struggle.
Okay.
Because when I was younger and I first had my daughter and stuff like that, I was 18 years old, and yes, I did get on benefits and everything like that. I didn't have my own place. I was living with either my in-laws at the time or living with friends and stuff like that. So I wasn't stable to even give my daughter her own room
Yeah.
or things like that. I had to depend on the system in order to feed my kid at the time.
Uh-huh.
So if I completed everything such as school, had an education and stuff like that, I wouldn't have had to depend on everybody else or anybody else. And I'm not saying my baby's dad, he was always there too, but we were both young.
Yeah.
We didn't have a plan. So our plan ended up being just depending on system and people, which is
Yeah.
nothing's wrong with that.
Right.
But if you would plan it out, I wouldn't have had to have dealt with living with other people and not having a stable home for my daughter.
Right. What setbacks do you think kids are nowadays? It seems like they're not having kids as young as as we were in our days. What do you think the setback is?
Um, the expectations that we have for our kids that our parents didn't have.
Yeah.
So, like for instance, like I told you, my mom was always at work and whatnot, and she really didn't sit down and talk to us about, this is what your plan should be. This is what I expect from you.
Yeah.
Vice versa. Like when I had my daughter, this is something that I let her know throughout her growing up.
Right.
And I don't know for you, like if you ever have these conversations or whatever, and hopefully that your kids don't reproduce at an early age.
Yeah.
I think it has a lot to having that conversation with your kids, and not just once, but like plan it in their head. That's for me.
Yeah.
It worked, either that or my daughter really doesn't like kids and don't want none. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question?
What's up?
How do you feel about the age difference between a parent and child? Like, for instance, I waited, not that I fully planned it out like she's saying, but I did wait a while until I had my kid. I'll be 38. Um, I'll be 40 before my son is 10. So I had my kid pretty late. Like, how do you guys feel about that kind of age gap between the parent and the child?
Oh no, I think that that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, even now, I don't want to put it out there, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to.
Yeah.
I'm 38 now, but I still think about having one more kid.
Yeah.
And there's still that age gap. So I think that there's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Who's to say if I were to have planned it out, if this wouldn't be the time for me to have my first kid? I mean, I don't think that there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
And the fact that you have matured, then now more so now than you would have back then.
Yeah. You look good for 38.
Ooh, don't say that
I mean,
again.
you look good for 28.
Thank you.
Thank you. I did a push up today.
Yeah. But a
Thank
lot
you.
of times I'm seeing, it's funny because sometimes you'll run through people that have gone to school and like they look like 50. And then other times you see people that are like 38 and they look a lot younger, So yeah.
And all this, I have no gray hairs either,
Wow.
so it's all natural.
Yeah, not me. I got gray hairs. Yeah, I got 3 boys and they stress me out.
Kids stress you out,
Yeah.
period. Yeah.
Us melanated people age well.
Yes, thank you.
Just saying.
What joys does your kids bring you?
So much. I mean, just to see you and them,
Yeah.
just to see their character that they develop, just to see their success, things that they do. So for instance, my daughter, she's about to be 20. But the fact that she went through high school, she was in honors classes. She was a 3-time athlete since freshman all the way to her senior year. She was in student council the whole 4 years that she was there. She was always involved, and the fact that she's graduated and that she went to California to a community
Right.
college out there to play volleyball and everything. And then she came back here, and now she's a head coach for a volleyball team back at her old school.
Yeah.
Plus, she works at the school. So, and she's still going to school. So, those are the type of things that bring joy to me, to see that she's succeeding and
Yeah.
she's not stopped. She's very determined. And, with my son, it's just, everything that he does, it's the characters in him, everything that he does. And then, I have my stepkid right here.
Yeah.
Just to see her and my son, how they get along, how they play together, just, they're so well behaved, Um, and then I have a kid that I've had for 4 years. She's my cousin's
Yeah.
daughter, but I've been taking care of her. And just to see that I'm able to be there to bring joy to them, just to see them smile, to help them grow, to teach them, and they actually learn off of me.
Yeah.
So me being that role model for them brings joy to me as well.
Yeah.
We go to church. My kids, they love serving in church every
Yeah.
single Sunday. They sit there, they worship, they know all the songs, it's just everything about them.
Yeah, because the reason why I asked that, and it's kind of annoying to me, just my own opinion, but I hate the fact that, not hate, because hate's a strong word. I dislike that now a lot of kids or a lot of people on the internet are like, no kids, and this is my life now, and this and that. And I'm like, okay, that's good. That's what's perfect for you. But don't try to make it like a negative stereotype. It's like, us parents, we love our lives too. We're not out there, trying to, add all this blasphemy.
When I hear people say, "Oh, I don't have no kids," this and that, which is fine because
Yeah.
that works for them. But it's because I feel like they don't realize the love that it's a different type of love when you bring a child into this world. You know that that's yours, and I think it's a I love my friends as a friend. I love my mom. I love my sisters. But
Yeah.
when you have your own kid, it's a different type of
Yes.
love. And those who don't have kids that never experience that,
Yeah.
I feel like, me personally, feel like they're missing something in their life that they will never know unless they have a kid.
Exactly.
So if my daughter says, "Oh, I don't want kids," and I'm like, "That's because you love us and you love your siblings, but it's because you've never had a kid of your own.
Yes.
Once you do, it's different."
Yes. And what are the most stressful moments of motherhood?
Mama, 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 mama.
Yeah.
And it's the constant mom, or you know, um when they can't do something I feel like they should be doing already.
Mhm.
My son love him to death or whatever, but what drives me crazy is, "Mama, what should I wear today? Mama, what should I wear today?" Or, "Do I have to wear that?" Like, why do you even ask me? Go in the closet and figure something out. But I don't like it, like my options in there. Or, you know, he's 10 years old and he should be I feel like he should be fully capable of choosing his wardrobe.
Yeah.
Okay, well, why are you going to wear that red shirt when the shoes you're wearing have blue and orange in them? Like, where's the matching?
Yeah.
I'm that type of person.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
you have to match at least a little bit.
Yeah.
And so it's like things like that that can drive me crazy.
That's my middle son. Yeah. We're trying to give him independence, and he's just like,
I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I let my son just wear whatever.
Yeah.
He'll have like gray shorts on and a purple shirt with blue and green shoes on.
And then, but if you go out in public and you're all dressed up, matching and stuff like that, you have, not that I care,
Right.
but you also have those criticizers like, why did she look like that and didn't care how her children come out of the house looking like,
Yeah.
there's also those, but not that I really care, but I, in a sense, I guess I do a little bit because
Yeah.
I let him dress himself.
Yeah.
So
What advice could you offer to those that are dealing with difficult kids?
I think seek help. Honestly, they're difficult. Maybe for a reason.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going through things, or maybe they have, I don't know, like for instance, okay, so my son, he gets difficult when I have to have him go get a haircut, or if I tell him to do certain things that clearly he doesn't want to do. But then you have to look at the bigger picture. Why is he giving me attitude? Because he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So then I have to take a step back and be like, okay, well, there might be a reason.
Yeah.
And it may not be like that for everybody. Their kids probably are just, bratty, I guess.
Right.
But sometimes there's a deeper root as to why their kids are being like that. And for my son, it's a little bit of sensory. Why doesn't he like getting haircuts? And he's never has, because he was little, and he has little tantrums because it's the texture or the feel of the haircuts.
Oh, okay.
If I have to put on jean pants on him,
Yeah.
he has a fit because he hates wearing jean pants.
Yeah.
But why? he doesn't like the texture on his legs, so he'd rather wear basketball shorts than anything. Or in a sense, it might be a little bit of sensory or something like that. Or if he's having a mood swing or whatever, and you're like, why do you act like this? Honestly, bring it to the attention of your doctor, or how often it's happening, to maybe there is a root cause for these behaviors. I don't know.
Picking up on that, what do you say to those people that are afraid to talk to doctors because they're afraid of the medication that they're going to prescribe to their kids, or the kids are going to look a certain way?
Well, I mean, they don't always have to get a medication.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it is therapeutic. It's therapy, so not a lot of it is medication.
Right.
So if they were to have an issue like that, and you go talk to a doctor, the doctor can do therapeutic sessions with them to help them with coping with having to touch certain things or do certain things to get them well adjusted.
Yeah.
I mean, but if it's further than that, I mean, that's just an option for you. At least you know why your child is acting out in such ways. But if they try to put them on medication, that's absolutely up to you. It's more of a knowledge thing that you know why your child is acting out this way at that point.
Yeah. Thinking about your life as a child, what do you want your kids not to experience?
I don't know. Not to experience.
I mean, I know it's
torture
crazy.
of your siblings.
Yeah.
You know, there's a 10-year gap between my two kids, but it's more of I don't know. I don't think I really had necessarily a bad childhood, but other than my children missing out on me because I worked too much, or not there because I had to like work or whatever. I know a lot of times when I was little, my mom usually worked overnight, and I was home with my sisters.
Yeah.
Who fought all the time, if not fought with me, but I think that that's just what siblings do, especially without the supervision of a parent in the house.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I can't say that I really had too much of a bad childhood. My mom did the best she could with us, but I just try to do what my mom did, but better.
Yeah. And what's easier, boys or girls?
Girls.
Yeah. And why? What way?
Like I said, when my daughter was little, she was a piece of cake to watch. For me, when I told my daughter to do something, she listened and she just did exactly what I told her. My son will give me a little bit more lip.
Yeah.
But why? Or this and that. Even with my stepdaughter right here, I can have her tell her to do something, and she will do it.
Yeah.
No questions asked. But my son, again, he'll either forget, or he'll be like, "Oh man, I don't want to."
I thought that was just my son. Yeah.
I know. I think it's
no. Unfortunately, it's all of us, man. We just suck, guys. We question stuff too much.
Yeah.
And then as you get older, the guys still don't listen, right?
Yeah. But as we get older, the women start to question more.
Yeah, all the time.
Well, you guys give us a reason to question more.
Yeah, that's why I try to just stick on a plan, and you know where I'm at all times. Like, but even trying to get my kids to do the littlest task. What is your answer to getting them to do the smallest task? Brushing their teeth, taking a shower, just little things like that. Especially when they don't want to.
What's that face about right there?
I will get her, and I will throw her in the bathtub with clothes on and all.
Yeah.
I will, when it comes to brushing her teeth or whatever, I just constantly remind her I will stand in the restroom with them until they brush them, until they start getting into a routine, or, well, if you guys don't do that, then, electronics get taken away, or they have to sit there with me and watch a movie. You know, that's almost the worst thing, is to have to sit with an adult to watch a movie for a few hours.
Yeah. I mean, that's good because you're keeping yourself involved. I'm trying to do the same thing. Like when my kids don't want to wake up, I'm right there with a cup of water, trying to wake up, because if not, they won't. I can call them 100 times and they're just still asleep.
This one swears that her body burns when she jumps in the shower, but if it's a swimming pool, no problem.
Yeah, it's all easy. And on that, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. We got to go pay some bills, so we'll be right back.
Abari Entertainment Films present There's Only One Name for News with Damon and Aisha. Abari Live Podcast. Habari Entertainment, a race against time. On a quest for glory. Habari News Weekly, HabariEntertainment.com. Catch us for more. Visit us, HabariEntertainment.com.
How are you explaining the opposite sex to your kids in regards to dating, in regards to conversating, interacting, boys to girls, girls to boys?
Well, I kind of leave the boy conversations with my son to his dad, because there's a couple of things I'm just a little bit uncomfortable with talking about.
Yeah.
The girls, I'm fully open and transparent. Like with my daughter, since she was little, I let her know, the basics of the opposite sex and this and that. And that pretty much came out when she wanted a quinceañera
Yeah.
for her, when she turned 15.
Uh-huh.
And I had to let her know what standards that she must live to in order to have a quinceañera.
Okay.
And the same thing with her. So we
Yeah.
kind of have that conversations, what purity is and the reason for a white dress. So now for like quinceañeras now, you have kids going out there and, having parents spending thousands of dollars on this big old party. And then, the quinceañera dresses are just different colors, which are so beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But I told my daughter at the time, and I tell my stepdaughter now, like, if you want a quinceañera,
Uh-huh.
no boyfriends, purity, this and that, you know what purity is. And, we go into the whole details at that point.
Yeah.
And I let them know if they do have a quinceañera, that their dresses have to be white, even though today's society has them in all different colors,
Yeah.
because the white represents the purity, no boyfriends, no, never having any type of relationships with
Right.
with the opposite sex. And so that's kind of where that subject touched on. And I'm completely comfortable doing that with a female.
Yeah.
My son, on the other hand, I'm going to leave that one to his dad.
But how do you get him to, because of the woman and my mother's perspective, how are you explaining to him on how he should treat a woman?
Oh, that one's a good one. And I always tell him, so what my son does, what we teach him now, for one, he's always opening the doors, car doors, for my mom anytime, or for me, when we have things in our hands, he makes sure that he takes it from us, teaching him to have respect, whether any type of female, opening
Yeah.
the doors for them, never letting them take out the trash. I think he's really good with taking out the trash, never letting a female do it. And, just in the past, I've gone through issues with my baby's dad
Uh-huh.
that obviously are not okay. And I've always told him, you treat a woman the way you want somebody to treat your mom.
Uh-huh.
I said, never make a female cry, never cheat on them, never do this, never do that. And, he gets that, because when I was sad when he was younger, he didn't like to see it.
Yeah.
And, he has had talks with his dads in regards to, why have you done this? Why have you done that? And his dad gets speechless when a little boy goes over there and says, why did you, which is his son,
Yeah.
why do you do this, this, and that, or whatever? And then, his dad is good now. Like, guys mature when they're in their 30s, late 30s. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I see that he's smart enough to understand how women should be treated. And
I
he
think
asks
you
questions.
teaching the basic life skills is important,
Mhm.
because you look at today's society, with all the social media and everything else. I think it's TikTok. I was just, talking about that earlier. I feel like it's a negative undertone. TikTok is just, to me, it's more of a form of disrespect. They have, calling teachers by their first name. They have slapping your parent. They have the water thing where they're splashing water. And it's just like, we're
Mhm.
moving on the opposite direction of teaching our kids to be respectful. So with that being said, I think what you're doing is amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do your kids know that you love them?
Absolutely, right?
In what ways? What are you doing to show that you love them?
I'm there with them. I love them. I hug them. I spend time with them. I teach them. We do things together. I don't know. Just
Just
the
the basics.
basics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when I talk to some of my friends, like I have a buddy of mine, and I've talked to this, I think, on a different show, where He's a father. He doesn't tell his girls he loves them because he feels like it's a feminine thing that he just doesn't want to carry. There's certain things that he doesn't do because they should already know. And it's like, I think you're teaching them wrong. I think they need to know whether they're a boy or girl, whatever the case is. Their kids need to know that their parents love them. They shouldn't have to question it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I would love to hear your opinion on this. So Nick Cannon was criticized on having too many kids. I think we went over this last time. He has 11 kids now?
Yeah, I think the 11th is still pregnant.
Okay. So he has 11 kids. Some were saying it was pulling the love and attention from other kids. What are your thoughts on that?
It just depends.
Yeah.
How much time does he spend with his kids, or how much does he, just basically is there for his. I know, like, his baby's moms are all over the place,
Yeah.
but the question is, how much time does he devote to each of those kids? How much, does he tell them he loves them? So, kind of to your point earlier, like, does he speak to every single one of those 10, 11 kids and, bond with them? And, they obviously they don't know that he's a dad.
Yeah.
But how much attention does he give them? Time does he spend with them? How much does he say that he loves them? I mean, it's situational per person,
Right.
I
He
don't know.
seems pretty busy. He seems like he's all over because he has so much going on. With that, why are we so bothered by that? I mean, let's say he didn't spend any time with him at all, and he's just financing them.
Well, I've never really never really took the time to actually think about it, but as they get older, I mean, they may resent him. Some
Yeah.
of them, maybe not all of them. It just
Right.
depends on how they grow and their character is as they get older.
Yeah.
Some of those kids may resent him for not being there for
Yeah.
them, spending as much time. Maybe he spends more time with some more than the others.
Yeah.
I mean, it just depends on the kids and why we spend so much time. I mean, that's their lives. Like, I don't think that we should really criticize somebody, because when you point your fingers at somebody, they're going to point something back in a whole different aspect. Like, you may not be doing something right that is good for you, but to each their own.
Yeah.
Like, mind your own business.
Exactly. And I feel the same way. Like, why are we even paying attention to this? If he
Mhm.
has the financial means, whatever the case is, leave him alone. Like, let him do his thing.
Yeah, mind your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lizzo came out, about body positivity, being able to be comfortable in your own skin, and advocating for the more provocative look by having bigger girls wear less. Good or bad, and why?
I mean, if they feel comfortable in it, why not? But at the same time, so I see where the controversy is. If
Right.
you're comfortable in it, do it. But sometimes when people do it, they don't look the greatest,
Yeah.
and it sends a negative message to our kids growing up,
Yeah.
like, it's okay to have your kids walking around some booty shorts and like a half shirt, thinking that it's okay whether they're slim or not,
Yeah.
And I just think all the way around, wearing less sends our kids now that are growing the wrong message, even though that's the way society is. But I mean, the trend that has been set now, if we don't change that,
Yeah.
our kids are going to grow up to do that plus less. Think
Right.
it's okay. But for me, um, if they're comfortable doing it and that's the trend, I mean, to each their own. My kids, they're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
For me
And
personally, I feel like the idea of it is great, but she's going about it the wrong way. Like,
exactly. I have to
she's
agree.
showing a little too much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You can be sexy and be comfortable in your skin and still be presentable.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, I have to agree. And then how are you reacting? A dad was paying his baby mama $450 a month. His baby mama's friends got in and they were suggesting that she put him on child support so that way she can get more money. The court seen, his finances and everything else, and then they ordered him to give $183 a month. What is your thoughts?
Backfired on her.
Yeah, I mean, it really did. I mean, she was comfortable, but at the same time, I think she probably thought that he could give more.
You know, um, I don't know, because even when I was not with my baby's dad at the time, I didn't take him for child support. Like, he wasn't making the greatest money,
Mhm.
and I was perfectly okay. As long as he was there in my kid's life is what meant more to me than money.
Yeah.
But At the same time, I believe every state has a child support calculator tool on the internet
Yeah.
that people should utilize before making that decision to go to the courts, because if he was paying her $450 a month and her friends are in her ears telling her, "Go take them, take them, take them, because you can get more."
Yeah.
I mean, she should have used a tool to see would it benefit her.
Yeah. I didn't even know that there was a calculator.
Oh,
That's
yeah, Arizona has a child support calculator, and I've looked at other states. They pretty much all of
Wow.
them have a child support calculator too, so where you can, see who has the majority of the time with the kids, how much each of them make, who has medical, whatnot, and then it pretty much tells you which person should pay the other person in how much. Now, it's not 100%, but you can get a pretty much a good idea of, what somebody can pay.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
Mhm.
Like I said, I didn't know that. What are you telling your daughters about self-esteem?
Just be comfortable with who you are, be confident. That's where your self-esteem will grow. Like, I know for some of my daughter, she suffered a lot with acne when she was younger.
Yeah.
She plays sports, and it was just genetics for her. And she felt uncomfortable as she first started getting them, but being who she was, and confident with who she was,
Yeah.
it helped it a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Um, it's and I just tell her just to be comfortable with who she is. Like,
Right.
her features doesn't define her insides. And same thing that I tell this one as well. Like, she's beautiful no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, God created us to be who we are. Like, if people make fun of us, or tell us, oh, we're ugly, or we're this or we're that, you should be perfectly fine, because this is the way God made you and created you. And they're pointing their fingers at you, but you know what? They have their flaws too.
Yeah.
And just be comfortable in your own body.
What is the conversation like for you and your daughters talking about BBLs, lip injections, Botox?
I mean, it's just a trend. Um, some people look great, some people, overdo it, but
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, I haven't obviously had, you know, um my face or anything done, but I mean, regardless of what I tell them, I mean, they're gonna do what they want to do when they're able to do it.
So if they approached you, say like right at 18, what are you saying at that point?
You don't need it,
Yeah.
but I can't stop you.
Uh,
It's like when my daughter, and it's kind of different, but before she turned 18, I wouldn't allow her to get a tattoo. But the
yeah.
moment that she turned 18, I want to get a tattoo.
Yeah.
I want to get, and she went and got a couple of tattoos. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think you need it. I think your
Yeah.
body looked fine the way it was, but at the same time, I can't stop you.
Yeah. Are you talking to your kids about today's dangers of the world, like human trafficking? In what ways? What are you telling them? And what can you advise to everybody out there that can say, you need to mention this or talk about this? Real quick, because the US 60 in Arizona is the highway route for human trafficking.
hmm
And I have to point that out there because I want people to know.
I bring it to especially the younger ones. My daughter, yes, she's very well aware. It's something that um, I don't push under the carpet. I make it very aware. Sometimes I'll put on movies that show things about human trafficking, kids, all different genders, age, shapes,
Right.
sizes. It really doesn't matter. And so I'm well aware of the human trafficking, especially here in Arizona. So when we go to the stores and stuff like that, I'll have them hang on to the baskets, or, hang on to me, or, don't run off or whatever. And, they did have questions. I know, like this one, she's like, well, what does that mean? Like, what happens? And so I explained to her,
Yeah.
and so one of the things that I like is, if they have a phone, I need to have GPS on them for no other reason than, yes, losing your phone. But if something was to happen to you,
Exactly.
I know where the last location you were, or maybe they don't know that you have a phone and it's on, and we can locate you or something. And I just tell them the dangers and what happens, what could possibly happen. There's that little girl, Alicia, from Arizona, Glendale. We don't know what happened to her. We can
Yeah.
only guess that, she was abducted for trafficking. Like, we don't know. And it was funny because maybe about a year ago, I went to uh, TJ.
Mhm.
And a friend of the person that I went with lives there, and we went on this tour there, and there was this strip of a whole bunch of young girls. Um, and they were out on the corners and they looked so young. Some of them looked extremely high. And I was not knowing, trying to take out my camera to record. And he would immediately say, do not record, and gave me like the
Wow.
rundown of the dangers of why they're not to record. And some of it is because, these kids probably were kidnapped and brought to TJ from Mexico or from the United States, and they're probably being trafficked and stuff like that. And there's nothing we can do about it. I mean,
That's scary.
he told me stories of a girl, somebody trying to help one of the girls, and what happened to that guy. Like, so it's very, very dangerous. Human trafficking is real, and the dangers of for the kid, and if somebody tried to help them get
Yeah.
out of it, if they get caught, the things that can happen to them. So
Yeah. I'm terrified to have girls, by the way. I'm very fortunate I had 3 boys. I don't know if I had a girl, I don't know how that would look like. But I was like, I would lose sleep because I'm like, I do not want to grow just because I was terrified. And
Mhm.
everybody was, they always say like, "Oh, are you guys gonna try for another one?" I'm like, "No, like I'm shots closed." It really is. But because of where we live at, I mean, I think 1, 2, maybe even 3. As far as human trafficking, it's so scary.
It is.
They do go after boys too for human
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. I don't want.
exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to discredit that.
Absolutely. It's just I'm very protective and I overthink a lot.
Yeah,
I always think of what can happen. And I think that is a downfall for me because I'm always on my toes about everything. Like, get over here. We're at this mall, or we're at this store. You guys need to be over here. Don't be running around because you don't know who's going to try to take you.
yeah,
And then even today on social media in Arizona, people are filming people stalking them throughout the stores, and trafficking here, trafficking there, and it's like it puts you on even more alert, things that
yeah,
I've already known, but now because of social media I know more of the hot spots
yeah,
for it to happen. Not that it can't happen just anywhere. And the thing is, it's not even just traffickers. It's just all of maybe these freaking people that are on drugs and all out of their mind, wanting to go over there and do something dirty
yeah.
and just take a kid. And people think, okay, well, maybe they were trafficked, but yet, so it's not just trafficking. It's more than that.
What is the right age for little girls to wear makeup?
I tell my kids, my girls,
Uh huh.
that I don't like to see makeup on them until after the quinceañera because it's
Yeah.
part of purity.
Okay.
But very lightly at that point.
Yeah.
Here and there, if they have blemishes before then, like a big old pimple, I would go ahead and let them, put a little bit of foundation to cover it up, but not
Yeah.
on their whole face or anything
Right.
like that. So for me, it's after their quinceañera.
Yeah. I like that you say that because I've had some others on here and I feel like they give cliche answers. Like they're like, "Oh, like my daughters can wear whatever," or they're trying to answer honestly because they're afraid of getting the negative feedback. But I like how you say that because the fact that it's allowing other mothers out there to know, like, no, like it doesn't stand with me. Like let's move into it.
Yeah.
Um, and do you ask them about their role models or who they see as icons?
I do. I for instance, my stepdaughter, like she's literally my sidekick. My
Yeah,
son would rather stay home with his dad. She rather goes everywhere with me.
yeah,
And so she and I, we have like long conversations all the time. And like she tells me that she has 2 role models, and one is from her mom's side and one
right,
is from her dad's side. From what she told me, my daughter, her older sister,
yeah,
is her role model for our side of the family, and then she has a cousin from her mom's side of the family, Nisi, is who her role model is for over there.
yeah,
My daughter is her role model because my daughter, she's very independent,
right,
she doesn't travel, but like when she drives to California to and from, she drives by herself 7 hours, or she goes to school, she's completed school, she's still now in college, she's in volleyball, she was a 3-time athlete. Like, she looks at the good
yeah.
and the positive, and that's something that she idolizes.
What do you say to those that have, the Kardashians or even 80% of female rappers today because they're pushing off this this agenda, I'll say.
The fake agenda?
Yeah.
Mm,
And that's just keeping it clean.
well, I haven't had that conversation with them. It's not something that we discuss or really talk about, but,
Uh-huh.
I think that if I did have a conversation, money's great, but, it's not always great to be fake.
Yeah. And what are you saying about peer pressure?
Be a leader, not a follower.
Uh-huh.
Like, make your own choices. Don't do something because somebody else does it, you know? And so like when when my daughter was younger, all of like her friends or people around her were like getting with guys or, and I'm all like, okay. And what is that making you want to or whatever? I go, you need to be a leader, not a follower. Um, have guys want you for what they can't have versus what they can have
Yeah.
because when you're at that age, guys you got those guys that are wanting to go through girls because they know they're easy.
Yeah.
But then you have those guys that
Guys are
want to
dogs.
yeah, or you got those guys who want to be with a girl because nobody's ever had her. And so um be that girl that um make the guys want you for what they can't have
Yeah.
because nobody can have you versus what they can have. Don't be
Yeah.
the easy girl.
Yeah.
Don't follow into what everybody else is doing.
Yeah. How are you online?
How am I online?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like, let me rephrase that. How are you on your kids lying to you?
Oh.
Yeah, not online. I said that wrong. Yeah.
Well, I like to think that I run a type ship in my home,
Yeah.
and lying is forbidden.
Yeah.
We don't do that. I call them out on their lies. Um, I can scream, I can yell,
Yeah.
and if I catch you in a lie, also, um, I think the little girl that I have, she's the only one that really lies. The other kids don't, but she gets grounded for lying. I let her know the reason why it's not okay with lying, and of course, I'm a Christian,
Yeah.
so God sees all,
Yeah.
and God doesn't like when you lie. I use that, and not that I'm lying or trying to be deceitful or anything like that. Somebody sees all.
Yeah.
I may not see it, but God sees all and he knows if you're lying. So you might as well tell me the truth. Or, you know what? I caught you in a lie. So guess what? Today,
Yeah.
you're grounded. You're not going to be on your phone. In fact, you're going to get on your phone or you're going to get on I have a laptop to where you're going to read
Yeah.
and you're going to read out loud to me or this is what you're going to spend time doing. You're not going to be while the other kids are having fun, you're
Right.
not going to do it because you're going to learn to not lie.
Yeah. I
So
can only imagine what you're like as a mom being upset because in school you were intimidating. Your mom was a fighter. Like, yeah, like I boys wouldn't mess with her because she would like had a strong right hand. Like, you were very like intimidating.
well, I think the kids still think that way.
Yeah.
I have this very mean look, very stern look, and my voice, it goes from calm to aggressive real quick.
Yeah.
And people can get really well, even the kids, they can get very intimidated with that.
Yeah. At the end of the day, what are your expectations of your kids?
Just to be themselves, always be truthful, share love, help those who need help,
Yeah.
give to those who are in need, love one another, and just be honest
Yeah.
and, succeed.
And what do you say is the hardest thing about being a parent?
Letting your kids down.
I have to agree. I have to agree. Literally everything that I'm thinking about them.
Mhm.
Even this show. Doing the show, I love it. It's allowing me to give people the opportunity to, voice and just hang out and use this platform. That's
Mhm.
why these kids, these toys are each resemble each of my kids because that's their way that they can be a part of the show. Every invention, creation, idea I have that's in this book, it's because of them. It's because I want them to be able to be a part of my journey every step of the way. I love my kids. I used to do music and stuff like that, just like probably 100% of other Arizona people. We are guys. I was a
Mhm.
rapper. As soon as I had my kids, I gave up rapping. My kids like, you should get back into it. Like, no, like I'm good. Like I gave a promise to myself that said that when my kids were going to be born, my time was kind of over, not in a sense. I don't want to say it, in a weird way, but because of the fact that I had a new joy, and that new joy was becoming a father. So I wanted to make sure that I did everything in my power to make sure that they were, that they were good, that they had a better childhood that I had.
Yes.
because we grew up in a different time.
We're gonna have to make some rapping commercials though. You know, you ain't putting up the mic forever.
I mean, that's why I post my old videos, because it's like, and I was a conscious rapper, so a lot of times I didn't get like a lot of the attention. I'd go to some of these, grimy hoodie bars and stuff like that, and I'm over there talking about domestic violence.
Oh.
I'm over there talking about homelessness and starvation and just a lot of positive,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I get credit and other times I get a gun pointed at me, but that's another conversation for another day.
Those ones are
but
the domestic violent ones.
yes, and road rage and everything
Oh
else.
my gosh, yeah.
If you had a few words to say and your kids are watching this, let's say, and you had last words to say, what would those words be?
Be great, succeed,
Yeah.
and just make sure to always help those in need and just stand your ground.
What do you want to?
Don't let nobody bully you.
Yeah. What do you want to be remembered for after everything's said and done?
Greatness. Again, helping everybody, anybody that I can. Just being able to love everybody,
Yeah.
treat them equally, never dislike somebody just because. I mean, I've grown up since I was a kid, but
Yeah.
I love to just show the kids that being great to one another, even your enemy, and pray for your enemy is the best thing in the world, because that means you're at peace.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that they all remember that I love them, and that they think of me as somebody who did all those things to help everybody.
Yeah. And then tell me your thoughts on these situations. In Australia, parents leave out of town for the holiday, and a teen that had a small kickback for a few friends ended up throwing a party that becomes a real life Project X. Have you seen the movie?
No.
So this kid decided to have a little hangout. His friends decided to post about it and say, we're having a party. 500 kids show up to this house, trashing their home, burning the neighbors' cars, and they had to shut down the party. SWAT had to shut it down because that's how crazy it got. How are you reacting?
As a parent?
Yes.
Ooh, that boot camp. Ooh. Well, I mean, I don't condone hitting, spanking. But I mean, I think there will be an exception on top of a lifetime of groundation. And, I'm going to have my living slave for the rest of my life. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there is no end to what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how I'd react. I mean, I guess I'd have to be in the moment because I just see that and I'm just like, man, it's crazy.
At that point, I really think I would look online for like a boot camp for my child.
Oh, I would too. Reform school, something.
Yeah, because clearly my boot camp wouldn't be working at that point.
Yeah.
So I think I need to ship him off.
Yeah, because who's to say what's the next thing that he's going to do after that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd ship them off to acting school so they can pay for everything in the end.
Yeah, do something to where he pays that back, because I can imagine those fines and everything else. An 11-year-old boy steals a school bus for a joyride that turns into a high-speed chase in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. What are you doing in this situation?
First off, how did that kid learn to drive? Like, who taught him?
I don't know. He stole the keys, took it for a bus ride, and there's a video of it where the kid, you just see the school bus just.
First off, I'm wondering, why didn't the parents know that he was gone at 11 years old?
Well, he was at school.
Oh, he was at school.
Yeah.
Why didn't?
So replace parents with teacher.
Yes.
Yeah. So how did this kid first off get the keys?
Yeah.
Where was he? Did he say, "Excuse me, I need to go to the restroom," and then just went unaccounted for? Like, this kid is supposed to be, somebody's supposed to know where he's at, right?
Exactly.
But as a parent, what do? Again, I'm shipping him off to boarding school or a boot camp.
Yeah. Last one, kind of a different question, but would love to hear your intake on this one. Bruce Jenner became Caitlyn Jenner and ended up winning the Woman of the Year. How do you feel about that? Is that fair? What are your thoughts? Because
I'd rather not give my opinion, because this can become like if anybody, yeah, very, very much so. Like, I mean, to each their own. If you want to be transgender and turn into a woman, good, each your own. But I'm also a believer of, certain things in the Bible and stuff like that. But if it was my kid and he decided to grow up like that, I'm gonna love him endlessly. So I'm a little bit biased.
Yeah.
I just hope that doesn't happen. I'm conflicted with that right there, because if it was my kid, I'd be biased and I'd be like, oh, well, good for you, because I have to love my kid no matter what.
Right.
But then the Christian in me is,
I have to agree. And I hate it. Don't cancel me. I say this a lot on my show. Like, please don't cancel me, because I don't want it 10 years later it ends up becoming something. But
Right.
um,
I rebuke it.
yeah. But see, the thing is like, I feel like it's good what he's doing, whatever the case is. But I think he should have his own lane. I feel personally, I love. And I don't want to say this disrespectfully, but in a sense, but I love women. They're a beautiful thing. But I think that it needs to be. I don't think it should have been a woman of the year. I think it should have allowed someone
An actual woman.
respectfully saying yes. I just don't want to like say somewhere it's going to come off kind of offsetting, but I feel like it should be an actual woman.
Yeah, there should be checklists. Like you need to be born
Were
a
you
woman
born?
to be woman of
Yeah,
the year.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if they had their own category, transgender woman of the year, I mean, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, to what he just said, yeah, I think that maybe you should have been born a woman
Yeah.
in order to receive the award.
But it's just my opinion.
Mine
Again,
too.
do not cancel me out. I'm just starting. I'm barely
me
at
either.
like, yeah, we're just voicing our opinions. Nobody's gonna know. Oh. It's now time where this and every show we give out a random hack, fun fact, and message, and the joke too. So today's hack or tip is to give your child some independence. Recognize that striving for independence is important. It's a sovereign and essential part of the human development. Give them responsibility, let them form their own values, and figure out how to make the decision that are right for them. Their identity is a work in progress. Let them experiment and express themselves with caution. The fun fact: when talking to your teen, do you ever feel that things go in one ear and out the other? Well, that's because a study done by the University of Harvard revealed that 32 teens in a brain scanner, while listening to a recording of their mothers nitpicking them, results revealed that certain key areas of the brain had shut down. Listen to your moms. That's all I can say. The message is: parents, learn to understand your kids in all ways possible. Love them, forgive them, and give them grace. Let them be kids. Life can easily change, and we can lose that opportunity in a matter of seconds. Time is so short, so raise them while you sit up in the front row of a bumpy, chaotic, and memorable ride. Love your kids. Seriously. And the joke: what did Jay-Z call his wife before they got married? Fiance. Here we go. There we go. Since ending. So as we wrap up this show, I want to give a huge, 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 huge shout out to Nikki, Connie, Castillo. Actually, what do you go by? Do you go Nikki or Connie?
It's both, actually.
Yeah, because I kind of know you as both.
Yeah, well, my going to school and work, my name is Connie Nicole.
Yeah.
When I went to school, or work, everybody calls me by Connie.
Yeah.
But my middle name is Nicole, so everybody in my family calls me Nikki for short.
Yeah.
So, I go by both.
And I'm the same way. I mean, now you hear me say Patrick,
Ray.
but I was by Ray. But I got tired of everybody saying like the stupid song where it was just like "Gay Ray eats hay by the bay," and it's like that was like when Anna Ban that song came out, so everybody like got that. So I'm like, I'm gonna change my name up. And where can they follow you at?
I have my Facebook, I have TikTok, and I have Instagram.
Yeah. Anything that you want to plug?
What do you mean? Like give out?
Yeah, like just anything. If there's any projects, anything that you want people to know, like businesses, just anything in general.
No, not really. I'm just plain Jane.
Yeah. I think what you're doing is amazing. And I'm really honored and, blessed to have you here because of the fact that it was a good experience. It was a good, episode and everything else. So I thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And you too. Your mom she's amazing. I follow her and everything else, and what she's doing is incredible. So thank you.
Well, how does she think I'm handling it?
Yeah, let me get one question. How is she as a mom?
I think she's very good. She is different from my real mom.
Yeah. In what ways?
Like with my real mom, she immediately jumps to the worst.
Oh, okay.
But she takes a few minutes to let me talk and understand and explain my side of the story.
Yeah.
But my mom, she immediately gets mad.
Oh. Well, it's gonna be good because of the fact that you have a support system on both sides. So I think what you have is incredible. And keep doing a good job too. You
She's
at school
amazing.
and everything else. Yeah.
So to your point, being able to talk to your kids and understand them and let them be kids, that's kind of what I try to do with my kids.
Yeah.
Instead of jumping down their throat. And if they do something wrong, I like to sit there before I jump down their throat. I talk to them for the reasons why they did that and explain to them why it's not okay to do that. Or, sometimes I will encourage them to do what they do if it's something good. But I sit there and I talk to them.
Yeah. Let me ask you another question. What is the best way as a kid for a parent to understand? Like if let's say a kid did something wrong, what helps you out more? How do they react?
Like don't immediately like start yelling
Uh-huh.
and just assuming everything. Like understand why they did that or their side of the story before you start yelling and stuff.
Yeah.
Because yelling, it doesn't make a difference. It just scars us.
Yeah. I think it's a very honest, and I'm literally gonna take it because my oldest, I'm yelling all the time. So just because the fact that if I don't understand it, my brain is automatically good. I don't like confrontation. If I hear people yelling, so I get what you say. That scarring still reflects me to today. A lot of times when I hear people arguing or confrontation, my brain shuts down, and I'm like, shoot, I just get really nervous and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your feedback because that's really good for me as a father. And as always, Mr. Habari Live himself, Mr. Dip, and Elijah Wealth for Generations Lee. Please like and follow them. And the Habari Live podcast, Habari Entertainment, and check out other shows on there like Habari Live, Socially Awkward and Uncomfortable, and Wealth for Generations. Please also check out One Love on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Stay safe out there, stay hydrated, and make it a great day. And we're out.